What's up, guys? We are here to discuss ATK CSGO team plans for 2021. Unfortunately, they've been forced into making a bit of a roster change. They've been thrown a curveball, something they certainly weren't expecting coming into the new year. Unfortunately, one of their players hasn't been able to commit to the team because of his personal circumstances. And for anybody who doesn't know, the ATK CSGO team intended to head over to North America this year to compete and form part of that region permanently. So because one of the players haven't been able to commit, the CSGO team has had to make a roster change. So without further ado, let's talk about the man who's coming into the mix. He's one of the players who's been earmarked as an up-and-coming star in South African Counter-Strike. He's got a massive ceiling of potential as well. He's had a number of highly skilled players sort of talk about him as I said, as one of the future stars in South African CS, and he's really young still as well, so he's still in the very early stages of his career, and he now finds himself in the best CSGO team in South Africa. So he's certainly landed with his arse in the butter here, and he has got a lot of potential positives coming his way. So if you haven't picked up on who I'm talking about, because it's kind of obvious at this point, his name is Mango, and he has joined the ATK CSGO team in place of Doru, who unfortunately hasn't been able to commit to the ATK team throughout 2021 because of his personal circumstances. So, Gareth, without further ado, welcome, of course. How exciting is it to have a young gun like Mango coming into the mix, joining your guys' team?
I couldn't be happier. When I was given the opportunity to make ATK, he was one of the people at my top list, one of the top 5 players that I could pick up. But at that time, he was joining Goliath.
Okay.
I knew at some point, whether we came back from overseas or anything, I knew that I would be playing with Mango. I knew that I could, mold him into any sort of player that he wanted to be, whether it's a star player, a lurk, or anything. I knew that I'm the right fit for him.
Okay.
And I couldn't be happier. I mean, he's 16 years old.
Yeah.
The amount of damage that he already does at this age, I'm just thinking with the experience from Spray and everyone else in the team, what we can actually make of him and the amount of damage he can do here, and when we go abroad to overseas, it's just really exciting,
Spray?
Yeah, I think personally, he's probably the only South African player outside of our team that I've actually taken notice of. I actually was really impressed by all of his performance throughout all the tournaments we played against him. He was kind of that annoying player that played against us and always caused trouble in his side of the map. But I think that when we got the news, it was kind of like a no-brainer to go and seek for him.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy we got to close down that deal and get him.
Okay, so just to cover that point then, so Mango was your guys' first choice for a pickup when you found out that Doru wouldn't be able to commit for the year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, he was literally the only option that we wanted.
Wow.
We were going to push for him no matter what.
Okay.
Because of his young age, some parents aren't that supportive.
Sure.
But I'm super grateful that his family is definitely supportive and he can actually come overseas and stuff with us.
Okay.
And if that wasn't a factor, then we would try and push up until the point where he wouldn't be able to. But as I said, I'm just super grateful that everything worked out that it had to.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very exciting change when you look at it on paper. We'll talk about the change a little bit more and how it's going to affect the team, the dynamics, the roles, and how you expect things to be adjusted coming into the year. But first, let's just draw things back a little bit. Let's go back to Doru, because he formed a massive part of your guys' success throughout 2020. He was a big part of the roster. He was actually one of the players who didn't get nearly as much recognition as the likes of Slowy and Fady. But he worked damn hard. If you watched his demos and stuff, you could see how much he was actually doing for the team, creating space, creating opportunities, supporting. Actually, he seemed like the guy who was kind of capable of doing whatever the team needed from him in the moments, and that's a really valuable player to have, right?
Yeah, I mean, I view him as Apex from Vitality. Apex doesn't get as much praise as Shox or Zawu, but if you look at the demos from Apex, the amount of flashes, the amount of dirty work that he does, it's very similar to what Doru had. And I mean, when I was just going over the nades of what actually Jonna did for the team, I couldn't even remember some of the nades that he had to do. So we actually had to get him onto the server to just show Mango some things and to remind me of a few stuff. But just everything that he did, he just did his job. He watched his demos, he did his aimbots and stuff like that. And it was just really good to see. And he was never someone that really put the team down.
Yeah.
He was always very, very much like Slowy. He always tried to hype up the team. He was always, you know, that solid anchor that we could always have.
Yeah, seems like he put the team first.
I personally think, like, from my experience with working with Doru, is that everything we told him, personally, from me, from Gareth, from anyone within the team, he just did it.
Okay.
I think he was probably one of the most hardworking guys in our team, in my opinion. And I don't think in our team we don't really have that divide where some players need to frag and some players don't, or some players need to do the dirty work. We all kind of like chime in and we want to win no matter what. Everyone does their role, what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I don't think like Gareth, for example, feels the pressure to frag more than Blaze.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure.
So I think like we have a healthy relationship between each other to know that we need to be better on the expense of the others. So pretty much like do whatever you can for your teammates to be better.
Because at the end of the day, what really matters is winning the game, winning the map, winning the match. That's actually the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter what your individual score is if you're getting across the line. And he seemed like that type of players who really embodied that mentality. And that's tough to come by, man, those individuals. So that's something actually I really want to stress right now, is that this wasn't a change that the ATK CSGO team made to try and upgrade the team going into 2021. As far as I know, maybe you guys can correct me, but as far as I know, you were 100% set on keeping the same roster to go overseas. Yeah. Like, that was the plan through and through. So it's just a product of the circumstances that now, unfortunately, this is a change you've had to make. Doru is going to be remaining behind. He's dropping out of the ATK CSGO team altogether. And Mango, as we said, is now coming into his place. So we've spoken about Doru. We've touched on how important he was for the team, that it's unfortunate that this was a forced change, not a change that ATK wanted to make. And you've brought Mango in now. So let's talk a little bit. We've spoken about Mango. We've spoken about how he's this up-and-coming star. You know, he joined, he's played actually in a lot of the top teams already. He played in WRG, then he went to Live Gaming, then he's played in Energy, and now he's playing in ATK. So he's been around, he's already got a bit of experience, seen what it's like to play under different IGLs, seen what it's like to mesh and communicate with different types of play styles and maybe some coaches and individuals. So for his young age, he's got a little bit of experience behind him.
Yeah, I see him as a mini me. In some sense, I came from Sin 5, and then I jumped straight into like the top team. Back then it was Energy with Black Poison in there. And then after that I joined also Energy, which was the top team at that time. You know, we went to Berlin and things like that. So in a sense, like, I've been overseas, he's been overseas. We went around the same age, and now we're like 3 years apart, but we basically had like the same journey to where we got to, you know, just at different time frames. But I mean, it's incredible to see at that young age what he's actually done. It's an inspiration to whether you're older or younger, that at any age in Counter-Strike you can do it. You know, you can be 50, you can be 16, whatever the case may be, you can accomplish any sort of goal that you want.
Yeah, Dan, I mean,
I have something to add up on that. I think that some wrong perception that the South African scene has, something I've pretty much preached to my team, is everybody thinks they got experience. And something we strive on is to always be the underdog and always strive to learn. That's the mentality our team has.
Nice.
And that's the same thing I told Mango when he joined. I don't care what you did. I just care what we are about to do together.
Nice.
We're about to build our experience together, and we will be experienced only when we compete at the top of the world, and then we can allow ourselves more. So I think that there's a wrong perception about the world experience within the South African scene, and I just wanted to clear that up.
Okay, I really like that actually, because also it's like, as soon as you start seeing yourself as experienced and like at the top, you become a bit complacent. Maybe you don't work as hard. Maybe you expect more things to be coming your way for less hard work. Or it's just like, I kind of get where you're coming from with that, and I like that. You just got to focus on the here and now and never get complacent and sort of rest on your laurels. Say, because I've done this, now this is going to happen for me. Life doesn't work that way. So I agree.
Yeah, I've been in a situation where I've been at the top and the hard work just dipped, because you get big-headed, and like the mentality that you have is like you can beat anyone. So I said to Dan, and Dan said to me, no matter what position we are, we need to work the same amount or even harder. So even though we're number one, like as Astralis, everyone tries to steal your sort of strats or your defaults, whatever. So
definitely,
every single time we do like some sort of practice, whether it's theory or scrimming, like we're always doing something new. You know, we never stale. We always like changing things up. So I made sure that like also one of my goals is to make sure that we always on top of everyone. We always want to be a step ahead.
Okay. You know what they say, it's actually easier to reach the top than it is to stay at the top, because of that exact mentality that you just described, that once you reach the top, it's like, cool, we're here now, we're better than everybody, we can just continue to screw them, like beat them in every game that we play, you know, so they get comfortable with that. It's actually historical. You look at like NIP, VP, Envious, even it happened to Australis, where like they dipped after they were at the top for the longest, but like Liquid. They even dipped eventually. Liquid as well, so like it happens. It's like a common trait in esports. It's no secret that's what happens.
I think one of the biggest ones is SK or
NRBL. Another fantastic example.
#1 forever, and then all of a sudden, you know, like they're nowhere to be seen at the moment. Like Fury is the best Brazilian team at the moment. So
and you look at like that players like Fur and Fallen and Taco, even like these guys who are supposed to be godly CS players, and they still dropped off so far. And they've even said like, they just got really comfortable. So I want to tie this back into what we're saying. The point is that ATK, you guys were at the top throughout the whole of 2020, but you just still kept working really, really hard. And this is an environment Mango is going to be coming into now as well. So there's going to be a lot for him to learn. So let's actually talk a little bit about that. How are you going to integrate Mango into your guys' structure now, considering that he has had a bit of a different play style in the teams he's been in the past? He's kind of been seen as the star player, the best player in the team. Everybody wants to try and set Mango up because they know how destructive he can be when he's at the top of his game. ATK have got Fady and Slowy. So how do you now work Mango into this mix, considering that it's not really a like-for-like switch bringing in Mango for Doru? They have different strengths. So how do you now... How does this affect the dynamic of the ATK CSGO team?
I think, because of Mango, like he can be the star player, but you know we already have those sort of players, and as like Dan has said before, we don't really like focus on score. So it can be me that gets 40 kills, or it can be Blaze or anyone. Like it doesn't have to be Fady and Slowy. But just bringing Mango in, it's going to give us that extra firepower and not necessarily worrying too much about, you know, certain angles, because he can literally hold an angle and get a 3K. That's just how good he is. So bringing him into the team, like he is going to be someone that, you know, would go in like third. So myself and Blaze would be the people that go 1 and 2. You know, I'll put my body on the line and Blaze will do the same, just so everyone else can do their thing. So he's going to be someone that will just, you know, throw the utility for us alongside Slowy. You know, Fady will go do his own thing on the other side of the map. And then, you know, us four will like work as a unit, for example.
Okay.
But integrating him into the mentality of the team, like even though we were #1 last year, it doesn't mean that we're going to be #1 this year. So we've got to focus on the first tournament, which I'm pretty sure is a Predator Slam, where he'll have his like debut, and then we can go from there. But I don't see any way in which any other team will beat us just because of what the team is looking like already. You know, I've worked with him already. Like as soon as he came into the team, like he's already watching demos. From my perspective, when you're joining a new team, you want to like draw your excitement into something productive. So
love that.
He's already put something into demos. He's already contacted me telling me that I've worked with these players, you know, I've worked on this, and it's showing me that he was willing to be here. I've been in a situation before where I've had people that have been at the top, but they haven't shown me that they want to be there. You know, they represent the brand, but they don't tell me like, look, I want to do this, I want to do that. It's just, okay, cool, here's practice, I'll be there 5 minutes before. But I feel like Mango, he's made tweets as well about his fitness and stuff. It shows that he's dedicated. So no matter what he's doing, I feel like he's a very dedicated player, and especially at that age, it's just incredible and inspiring to see.
Yeah, 100%. I really like what you mentioned as well, but as the individual, if you want to be at the top of the scene, you actually have to take action outside of just your normal practice hours and everything that the team is doing. You need to work on your own individual ability, your own game, you know, fragging, movement, game sense. You need to watch demos as well, add to your depth, you know, study players who play the same positions as you, learn from them, pick up small little tricks and quirks and things that you can throw into the mix as well. So it's really cool to hear that he's not like, oh, I'm joining the best team, awesome, I can just like freestyle my way through this and just take it really easy. He's recognizing that he doesn't want to be the player who comes into ATK and then they go downhill. He wants to prove that he brings something different, and that ATK are still the best team in the country with him in the mix as well. Maybe for different reasons, you know, because I actually think we might see a bit of like a different look. ATK, I mean, yeah.
I always want him to be comfortable, right? Like he's always been, you know, I would say like top 2 of the scoreboard. And yes, it's not really a big indication of how much the game can go.
Yeah.
But we don't really want someone with like being that young at that age and what he can actually do to be near the bottom, right? That should, it can be anyone at the team, but we obviously want him to be as comfortable as possible, and that's like what I want him to be. So I'm working with him as much as I can, making sure that the positions that he's playing in, and what's actually really nice, just so like people get a better idea, is that him and Doru played very similar roles on CT side. So he's not really switching that much. I think it's only one map, which is Inferno, where me and him would have to switch sides. But for me, I'm always like keen to just look at new demos and just understand certain scenarios. So I'm very happy to just switch sides or a position to just make sure everyone's like happy.
Yeah, I want to touch on that a little bit more, but I just want to say sorry, guys. Seems like we're having some tech issues here with Mr. sprayxd. Not sure. There we go. Welcome back. On the money, perfect timing there, Dan. We were just talking about Mango coming into the mix, and basically the one point Gareth just made was how him and Doru had a lot of like for like on the CT side, so you haven't had to change too much, which is actually quite nice, because sometimes changing one player can have a ripple effect and like a butterfly effect on everybody else on the team. They have to try and adjust and change, but you guys haven't been forced to do that, which I'm sure has just made the change a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, I just also think that from my experience with Mango so far, he's a really hard-working guy. I think that what we'll throw at him, he'll do. What we'll tell him to do, he will do. Kind of like the same mentality as Jono, Doru, sorry. And I think that he can be the player we want him to be. And I think me and Gareth and the team can give him enough tools to develop in these positions, and like for example the new positions he will play, such as now lane on Inferno. And also his old positions to give him more tools on how to improve certain things. As well as the T side, all of that. I think that in general, it's really easy to work with someone that wants to work. And I don't think it will affect us really, like, it will affect us, but it won't affect us as much as people think or would think. I think that especially on T side, I think we have more firepower. That might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. Time will only tell.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about your T side because I think he'll fit quite well into your T side. You guys play a very like free-flowing, flamboyant, happy to try and run over your opposition in the first couple rounds as well to see if they can handle your aggression and your prowess. I think that Mango is also a similar type of player to that on T side. He likes to feel himself a bit. He likes to get aggressive. He likes to make plays. If he's identifying opportunity, you know, he might push through the tunnels and try and get a kill on the B player and catch him off guard or something like that. And that fits into your guys' style as well, right? He's not like a very slow, methodical, structured player. I know you guys do revert back to that if you're struggling a little bit, but it must be quite a positive thing for you that you're bringing in a player who naturally is going to be synchronized into your system.
Yeah, I mean, on our T side, I would kind of like put him as like a movable lurker. So he's not really like the dedicated one, which Fady would be. But he's someone that I can just let him go do his thing, and if I need him, I'll call him. So Dustu, for example, he's going to be like the guy holding tunnels, which when I've played against Energy, he does that exact role. So as Dan said, we'll just give him a bit more tools just so like he has a better understanding, and Doru's like giving him some as well. So he's basically coming into the team getting a lot more than what he would get in any other team, just because of, I think, what Spray and anyone else in the team can bring him. So yeah, he's just going to improve, like his game style's just going to be like 10 times better. So I'm really excited for that.
Spray, from your perspective as a coach now, what do you make of this coming? You know, you're getting a young. Did you say 16 years old still, Gareth? He's still like
he's
not even 17 yet. What do you make as a
17 in April?
Okay, so what do you make of like as a coach now, getting a player that is 16 years old but has an insane amount of potential? You know, how do you feel about this in general as a coach, and then specifically to Mango? How are you gonna how your relationship you think is gonna work with him?
First of all, as I already mentioned, I think that he was the guy that catch my eye even before all that, out of all the South African scene. So I think he has that potential to unlock, and kind of like an unlimited potential, right?
Yeah.
I think him being 16 doesn't really matter. I think that we can mold him, as Garrett said, mold him to the player that we want him to be.
Okay.
Aggressive, passive, and my relationship with him has been really good so far. I think that we are making a lot of progress already without even like practicing or anything. So I guess like I guess we can see like a lot of good things from him in the future.
Okay. He does seem like he might be quite a straightforward kind of guy. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't like played in the competitive environment for them, obviously. But you kind of need that as well. You need to have a mentality in the team where constructive criticism is something you're able to take on board, right? I mean, Spray, I think you're one of those more outspoken coaches who's not afraid of telling his players, you know, what he expects from them, and if there's mistakes that are made, to be able to discuss those. Obviously, as I said, it has to be done in a constructive manner. But I think that'll work fine with Mango. I mean, obviously, it'll be really challenging if you have an individual who doesn't take that criticism on board, but I don't see that being a problem here with Mango.
Yeah, I don't think it's any problem. I think the whole team, including MisteM, can speak up to me, always stating the issues straightforward, not really like sugarcoating anything.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at you. Yeah.
And I think that he will handle it really good because I think he takes it to a place where he needs to take those comments and improve on them.
Yeah,
rather
exactly.
than settle down and feel sorry about himself.
Yeah, or take it personally or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like Mango is the type of player that can improve, has the tools to improve. Obviously, we will work harder to give him better tools, like a sports psychologist and all of that from ATK. But I think that he's on the right track for sure.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, I mean, that's pretty much all the topics that I had that I wanted to discuss about the change and bringing Mango in and the sort of the roles, how it's going to be affecting the roles and how you see the dynamic changing. We kind of covered that conversation for the most part. I'm thinking about moving on to talking about your guys' year ahead now, unless there's still something else that you wanted to just discuss and talk about. You know, maybe Mango the individual or the team, bringing him in, or anything about Doru, or are you guys also good to move on?
I think like just bring Mango into the team. We've all played with him in different games, so it's not as if he's like a stranger coming into a completely different environment. Everyone's known him, whether we're playing Among Us or Rocket League or anything. We've played with him, so yeah, he's
or FPL games.
An environment that he's in an environment that he's been in already. So it's basically bread and butter at the moment. It's just putting all of the tools into the works right now.
I kind of feel like
obviously
another
little thing about Doru. So before we move on. As you said, we were kind of forced to have that issue, and at the end of the day, we would really like to continue with Doru.
Yeah.
If the situation didn't occur, so at the end of the day, just so everybody knows, we wanted to keep the same file we had last year moving forward. Unfortunately, something happened, and we just were kind of forced to it. Obviously, Doru is the fifth we always wanted and always won.
Yeah.
The synergy was there, everything was there since the start.
Yeah.
But I think that with Mango we can still do great things. As I said, he was one of the guys that I really personally was surprised from in the scene.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on that. I also wanted to make a point of that just so there's no rumors that get spread about ATK wanting to upgrade here and they drop Doru or anything like that, because that was never even remotely the case. So glad that you stressed that once again. Yeah, so let's talk about 2021 then, and the year that you guys have ahead. Now, of course, we're still ravaged by a pandemic at the moment that's sort of affecting all the countries differently. The geopolitical situation across the world is also looking pretty poor right now. But when we talk about the esports bubble, your guys' original intention was to move across to North America when the opportunity presented itself. Now, of course, you still have the obligations for Nodwin, which you're going to be finishing off now for the next month and a half sort of thing. After that, are there any obligations or ties to South Africa, or is it sort of, is that the soonest that you could potentially go?
Pretty sure, like, straight after Nodwin, we're going to start being in talks about when we want to go. Obviously, like, COVID and things like that is obviously, like, just stressing out everything, whether it's sponsors or Warren himself. You know, a lot of money from everyone in the world, like, gets deducted. Like, a lot of people are losing money and jobs. So, you know, for us as a team, our main goal is to go overseas, but, you know, we can't do much if borders and things like that is closed.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Even though we have a new player, you know, we still like without Doru, we were still 4 players. So Mango's just coming into our mix, and if he's as good as what we all think, where he can just fit in like instantly, you know, we don't need 6-7 months of practice coming here in South Africa. Like we can go within 2 to 3 months of practice and solid scrims and making sure that he's comfortable. Because at the end of the day, when the team is comfortable and when he's comfortable, we will be like golden to go overseas. So you know,
I like that
as soon as we can go, like we're gonna go, and we just need to like look out for tournaments as well in America, because as we all know, a lot of the American organizations and teams have gone to Europe, so we kind of just want to find like the best frame of us to go there. So that's what we're just waiting on at the moment.
Yeah. So personally, I think that same as Gareth touched on, we don't really need those 7 to 8 months to practice with a new player. If everything goes well, we can already be established really well in a couple of months. I'm pretty sure a time frame for us to move overseas would be around April. That's what we strive for. We're currently in talks with different guys from NA to see when we go and how we go. Or everything depends on COVID. Obviously, like if the borders are closed, you can't go. But at the end of the day, our time frame is around April. That's when we strive to go for.
And then let's talk a little bit about the goals and expectations going that side, because of course North America's a bit of a shit show at the moment in terms of what's happening there with the senior. Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid are both in EU for the next 2 months. Chaos has left, New England Whalers has left. Like there's a bit of a vacuum going on right now. So you could look at it 2 ways, and the way that I sort of see it is this is a golden opportunity to get yourself into America and established, make a name for yourself, and that when the qualifiers continue to happen, you've got, you know, not nearly as much competition as you would have previously had, which means potentially a bit of an easier chance to make a name for yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, we have Fady. He's been there already with the old ATK. And from what he's given us and playing in the team, this is obviously with Doru, he kind of said that we can kind of be like a top 5 team there already. You know, even with any orgs that didn't pull out, so if COVID didn't have to happen, he said like we can be like a top 5 team. And I might be putting some words in his mouth, but like that's sort of the vibe that I got. That,
well, it's just like paraphrasing.
Yeah, so I mean, even me, I kind of just felt like that as well. I just felt everything that we're doing, mentality, anything inside the game, whether it's teamwork, everything just clicked, you know. So that's kind of what we're hoping for with Mango, and I don't really see a world where that isn't going to happen. But our goals would obviously to win as many qualifiers as we can. We kind of want to like get our name out there, just like the previous ATK and what JT and Sonic and them are doing. We kind of just, we don't really want to follow in their footsteps. We want to follow in like our own footsteps. Like we want to make our own path that people can start following. So, yeah, I mean, winning as many qualifiers and obviously traveling is, I think, everyone's goal. But for us as an org, it's just mainly exposure at the moment.
I personally think, like touching on the old NA subject, is a side that people don't really see is, well, pretty much what happened is the hit from Valorant, right? Most of the players going to Valorant, like
20K salaries.
Players, some of the players, but people don't see that those players didn't really affect the scene as much. So yeah, maybe one decent team has left the scene, right? Like Chaos, for example. But in reality, no really other top team has left the scene. Probably the biggest hit to NA was Tens. The Tens moved to Valorant.
No, I'd say like Nitro and Steel.
Nitro and Ten, Nitro, Ten, Steel. But people don't see the side that behind it. All the other players like Team One, Triumph, all of those players teams now have the opportunity to play against the top teams. Like all day, every day, and improve faster, right? So at the end of the day, they are becoming better. The scene is actually, in my opinion, the level is higher, because then you could have kind of like told the tiers between like the tier 1, which is probably Liquid, Genji, Evil Genius.
Fury as well.
And then it was like Extra Salt, Cloud9, all those guys, and then it was like the Team 1s and all of those. So right now, I think everyone is in the mix, and I think it's more competitive now. Like anyone can beat anyone. And I think within the next couple of months, people will start coming back from Europe, and obviously it will be even more competitive. People will practice top teams on a regular basis again, and they will continue improving at a faster rate. So maybe from the public view, people think they've been taking a hit, but I think as soon as people start seeing officials from NA, like official matches and tournaments, they'll see that the level is really high, and it's just improving, going higher than ever. And also like the lower FPL players also now get that stage to show their
absolutely.
proof,
So I want to ask, Spray, do you think that the opportunity is actually better for you guys now than it was a year ago to try and make a name for yourself in America?
To make a name for ourselves, probably not. Probably a year ago it would have been better, because obviously you had the exposure of playing Cloud9, Liquid, Evil Genius, Genji, all the big orgs, and
Fair
obviously
enough.
that is an exposure,
Yeah.
exposure fact, a big one.
Picking up a map here, picking up some,
exactly.
a close game, taking it to OT, people just turn some heads. I get that.
Exactly, but I think that if we, let's say, continue our dominance, obviously it won't be as apparent as in South Africa, because obviously the level there is higher.
Yeah, much.
But if we continue our dominance and show our face that we showed here in South Africa in the past year, I think that definitely people will start pulling some heads and seeing what we actually worth. And then we obviously will start climbing faster and faster. But I think like the jump start will be a bit slower than it would have been last year. But
yeah,
I think eventually it will be the same.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just to finish off the conversation, is actually something I've spoken to Blaze about before, just, in our casual conversations, is how it could be considered a blessing in disguise for you guys that the pandemic broke out and you're almost forced to stay in South Africa for a year, because it really allowed you to explore yourselves as a team and grow as a unit and individuals and really take everything to the next level, so that when you arrive in America, you've already got that full foundation constructed. You're not now trying to start from the beginning and build from the ground up.
Yeah, I think the only thing that we're not really going to be able to get is that LAN experience up until like COVID's lifted up.
True.
So everything's going to be online. So we can win qualifiers because anything can happen online. But, we don't really know if we're going to be a LAN team. And especially going overseas and playing your first LAN can be a bit scary to some people.
Yeah.
You can get a bit nervous, but it's nothing that I don't think we can't handle. Everyone in the team has played a LAN, whether it's at Comic-Con or Rage or something. So, everyone's played a LAN. It's just us as a team, how we going to cope, at a LAN. Because reading body language and things like that, someone, might not be upset online because they mute their mic.
Yeah,
but you're sitting next to them, they might hit their desk or something.
They've got their head in their hands and...
Yeah. It can really affect the mood of anything. But yeah, as I've said, no one in the team really does that. I think Slowy does a fantastic job of hyping up the team. He's just got such an amazing character. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to everything for the future.
I think with the test we also made with the ATK team house a couple of months ago really helped in that manner. Them being together and experiencing that living together type of lifestyle. Obviously it helped, and people could be monitored better and by Gareth or by anyone there. And obviously from what I've seen, from what Gareth has seen, that experience, everyone seemed the same as they do online, and everyone is comfortable playing from another place that is not their home. So I guess that experience was really valuable for us as a team.
Yeah, what was really nice as well, like one of the reasons why we picked up Mango is because Slowy's gone overseas with him to India. So he's got a really good guideline of how he is overseas, how he is as a person, and obviously Doru, even though he's not longer with us, he played in White Rabbit with him. So he was also someone like that said, look, he would be one of the best fits for you guys. So, we had some guidelines. It's not as if we literally just saw a name of what he can do in the server. We had people that can speak about his personality and him as a person. So
more than just fragging.
Also, really big thumbs up, yeah.
Yeah, because, it's really important to make sure that, the individuals all work together. It's not just about what you can produce on the server.
Yeah, for sure.
So guys, that's everything that I had that I wanted to talk to you guys about for this change. It's super exciting going into 2021. It's a bit of a lucky packet. No one really knows where you guys are going to be in the next few months. Hopefully, the course of action that you expect is what's going to be taking place. That in the next couple months you're going to be able to book some flights and get yourselves overseas. But we're going to have to wait and see exactly how that plays out. But guys, from my side, that's everything. Any final thoughts, final words that you wanted to just send off before we finish things up here?
Yeah, I've had one thing. I think you touched up on goals, but Something that I want to clarify in regards to all of our fans and everyone in the South African scene. We as a team, we don't really look far ahead. We try to keep our eyes close to the prize type of thing. Our goal is to maintain our #1 spot up until we leave to overseas. So our goal is not to get overseas. Our goal is to keep dominating the scene right now.
Okay.
After we leave, then we can actually reassess what we want to achieve there. But right now, our main goal as a team is to continue working hard and to continue evolving as a team and being #1 as dominant as we were, maybe even harder than ever.
Okay, love it.
What's really nice about this change is that whether you're bringing in a new coach or you're joining a new org or bringing in a new player, there's that excitement, and that can always like bring the best out of people. So I'm like,
yeah,
I already know, like I want to like work harder because I want to make Mango comfortable. So like I'm watching the double amount of demos that I would watch with like my with Doru, because we had such a big foundation.
Yeah.
As much as we could do is, you know, go overseas, because we didn't really have that much competition. Like our results were quite ridiculous, like the dominance that we had. So bringing in Mango, you know, I can at least like look at other things now. I have new positions I need to start studying. So in that sort of sense, I'm already working harder than what I was with Doru. So
I like
that's
that.
pretty an exciting aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit like inspirational, kind of gets you all giddy again for the game because it's something new and different. It changes scenery almost is like what it comes down to. So I think that's really cool, boys. Okay, so best of luck for 2021. Some exciting things coming up. Picking up the young gun of Mango should be certainly setting some fireworks off in the server when you've got so much firepower. Slowy, Fadey, MisteM, Blaze, Mango. Like, you just got 5 names there that can all pop off in their own right. So I'm really keen to see how this is going to be playing out for you guys, and I'm wishing you the best of luck, boys.
Thank you.
Final words,
everyone
guys?
just needs to
sanitize
And hydrate. And enjoy your coffee, guys. But yeah, other than that, stay safe in these trying times. And I hope that this video proved useful for some people to just get some insight into the change, because that's what the purpose of this was, right, guys? Was to actually just talk about it so that people can go and be like, okay, so that's why they're doing this. This is how they're looking at it. It's cool to get that information in the public, I feel. So I'm grateful for you guys taking the time to have this conversation, and best of luck for 2021, boys.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks you to all the fans and everyone that supported.
Yeah, awesome. Cheers, guys.